Hey guys, welcome. So, just 2 minutes while I get set up. Hey guys, welcome. So, just 2 minutes while I get set up. Hey guys. Hi Awakening Humans. Hi Happy Hippie. So, it seems my excitement is changing, is shifting, and I'm going to be more focused on contact, first contact, in a variety of forms now, and likely to be moving away somewhat from the spiritual side of this, which of course I'll never be moving away completely, because first contact and spiritual awakening are so deeply intertwined that they are almost one and the same thing. But the emphasis on self-realization and healing and finding our calling and our purpose is likely not to be the focus of my work in the future, because I'm becoming super inspired to start focusing on first contact and the extraterrestrial phenomenon. So yeah, so quick announcement. I'm running the Learn to Channel course, possibly for the last time in this format, starting June the 3rd. So if you're interested in learning to channel, there's this is the third or fourth time I've run this Learn to Channel course, and possibly the last time now. And so it starts June the 3rd, I believe, it's over 3 Sundays, 3 2-hour sessions. And so it's a real great world. I've had great success in the past teaching other people to channel. So if you're interested in learning to channel, this might be your last opportunity to take this course. For, like I was saying, I'm moving more greatly towards first contact and the extraterrestrial and UFO field. So glad you're liking the new path. Yeah, I feel totally aligned on this new path, and I still feel excited to teach the Learn to Channel course. So I'm going to be going in this full steam ahead for the final time. And of course it's connected, because channeling and teaching channeling, and a big part of the reason why I have been teaching channeling is to prepare people for telepathic communication with extraterrestrials. So it's going to continue, I'm sure, in some format. I'll always be teaching channeling in some way, because it's intrinsic to the extraterrestrial phenomenon and making contact, because they mostly, 99%, communicate telepathically. So it will always be part of my work, but perhaps this is the last time I'm running the Learn to Channel course in this format. So the link is in the box below if you wish to register for the Learn to Channel course starting in June. So, what do you feel you are called to do? Much. Good question. So it's definitely, I guess I'm going to be entering into the disclosure realm more. I'm not sure I like the term disclosure. It's got so many connotations, a lot of them not so positive. But yeah, I guess more contact based. I'm super inspired. If you watch how my videos have progressed, I'm bringing through messages on my YouTube channel from the Alliance, from the Federation of Worlds, as they're presenting themselves, from the extraterrestrials, with regards to first contact and the acceleration we're going through at the present. I started doing a series of videos. I've just done a video that's going to be going on after this live stream about my astral contact experiences with extraterrestrials, and also with the secret space program. So this stuff is a bit bizarre, and it's I've really enjoyed making the video. It's something I'm definitely going to be focusing on more, sharing my experiences in the astral realm and the dream realm with the what I call the fourth density negative secret space program, because I've been communicating with the other side. So a lot of you might find this a bit worry, and I understand that. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's cool. But it comes from a positive perspective, of course. This is all about the love and the light, and I'm devoting my life to the highest service now, and this is why I feel it's a safe point, because I feel I've reached a high enough frequency of love and light and devotion of service to the one and all humans, that it's safe for me to start sharing this material now that I've been dubious about sharing with the public in past. But I've been having a number of contact experiences with the secret space program and what I call the fourth density negative alliance. And so it started off in the dream state, and it's like a soul contract I have with some beings who are at present working for the other side. They're deeply embroiled in the Illuminati and the secret space program. So I've been having communications with these for a while, and I haven't talked about it for perhaps obvious reasons, not wanting to focus on the negative. But I feel we've reached a point of enough love and light, and we're shifting into fourth density. And in my understanding, as we accelerate into fourth density in the fifth dimension, we become more aware of the other side, the fourth density negative and fifth dimensional negative polarization of reality. And it seems to be part of my theme to share the balance and share their perspective, perhaps, and so we can use this to accelerate ourselves further into the light and the love and the bliss and the unity and the service to humanity and the service to others. So just to reiterate, I'm fully committed to the service to others path. I'm fully committed to the light and the love and serving you guys and humanity and the one and God, like the highest. I'm always devoting to the highest. I have to focus on the highest, obviously, if I'm going down this path. I'm always of service to the highest. But there's some fascinating information that I'm beginning to share, and I will be uploading after this video if you're interested. It's totally fascinating, and I'm sure we can use this to accelerate the path of the light and perhaps help some of these beings that are perhaps trapped in the fourth density negative military Illuminati secret space program break out and return to the light. So of course this is one reason why I'm willing to communicate with them, because a lot of them want to shift sides. They want to come to the light, but they feel trapped in the dark side. So crazy stuff. So I'm going to be changing that, sharing that in my YouTube channel soon. I've done the video already. It's probably going to be uploaded in a few hours. So as I'm shifting towards disclosure, towards first contact is what it's all about, and focusing more on physical contact and hopefully inviting them into our reality and really pushing forward with the first contact agenda and initiation into the alliance. And I'm putting together an ambassadors program, a contact ambassadors program for, I guess, initiating us into the alliance, into the extraterrestrial alliance. So if you're excited about first contact, that's going to be coming up, but it's going to be a while before that program's ready. I've only just started channeling the material for that. So this is the direction I'm moving. So I thought what I'd do is try and, now it seems I'm moving in a new direction, is do a last video, a last live stream on enlightenment and everything I've learned about ascension, expansion of consciousness, enlightenment, finding our purpose, and the spiritual side of it. And of course, so this is how it all started for me, really. The reason why I got into spirituality is because through my contact experiences and through the channeled material and messages I was listening to from teachers like Bashar, the ETs were teaching us that if we want further contact, if we want to accelerate contact, we basically need to become enlightened. We need to raise our frequency to a level that they're on so we can have further contact. And this is really why I dove head deep into the enlightenment path, because I wanted to become as enlightened as possible so I can continue what is my mission. And perhaps I didn't fully understand it was my mission then, but I was just excited and it seemed exciting. But so this is why I've dived headlong into enlightenment and become as self-realized as I possibly can, so that I can meet the wavelength, meet the frequency, the love, light, bliss frequency of the extraterrestrials and do my part in this first contact process. So I will share everything I have learnt over the last 8-9 years about enlightenment and self-realization, and perhaps shed a bit of light on some of the myths, some of the confusion in the enlightenment field. So what Bashar always taught from the start was the way to become enlightened is to follow our highest excitement, like the fastest path to everything we desire, whatever we desire in our hearts, whether it be enlightenment, self-realization, first contact, manifestation, is always through the path of our highest excitement. And so I've explored a lot of different teachings over the years, and I've been excited to explore teachings such as Advaita, non-duality, Hinduism, Buddhism, meditation, self-inquiry, all these traditional styles of self-realization and enlightenment. And I feel I've come to some clarity very recently over what works, what doesn't work, what works for some people, what doesn't work for others, and really the fastest path to ascension and self-realization. And what I have come to understand from my own experience and my own channelings and the teachings I have followed and some teachers that have been very powerful in my life is that the fastest way to enlightenment for all beings is to follow their highest excitement, to follow our joy, our passion, our bliss. And this is because we all have our own unique path. And this is why I feel a lot of traditional self-realization teachings such as Advaita, self-inquiry, meditation, and these paths of these non-dual teachings where they continuously sit there and point us back to nothingness and the emptiness and the fact that we don't exist. And some of the extreme Advaita teachings, and extreme, perhaps we could call what do they call it, neo-advaita or neo-non-duality, where they tell us that there's nothing we can do. We just become self-realized or we don't. And so I sort of understand where these perspectives come from, because self-realization is the realization that we are the pure consciousness. We are, at least in my perspective, from the level of self-realization I've attained, is that we are pure awareness. We are the pure consciousness in which our experiences arise, and in which our thoughts arise and our mind arises. And so when we are fully identified with our mind and our thoughts, and we believe that we are our thoughts and our mind, and we take our self-identity and we believe that we are this stream of thoughts, in a sense, that aspect of us cannot become enlightened, because that is in a sense, the block to becoming enlightened. Because the mind, the self-realization is the realization that you are not the mind, you are not the thoughts. So if you believe that you are the thoughts, and you believe you're going to become enlightened, you'll never become enlightened, because you believe you're the thoughts, and the thoughts are in a sense, the antithesis of enlightenment. So from that perspective, I can sort of understand why a lot of these non-dual teachings say you can do nothing to become enlightened, because you can't just sit there and go, I'm going to think myself into enlightenment. However, there is a very lot we can do to become enlightened, and not only in the extraterrestrial teachings and the channelings that I share and other channels share about following our purpose, following our highest excitement, and raising our frequency to the point where we resonate on the same level as our higher self and our higher consciousness, our soul aspects. We become unity with our higher self and become the consciousness of our higher mind and become self-realized. Where was I going? Yeah, so the point is that we can become self-realized through raising our frequency. The secret to self-realization is through raising our frequency. And I believe that this is the teachings of Advaita Vedanta, not Advaita. You hear a lot about Advaita these days, which is non-duality. I believe Advaita means non-duality, and in the West we have a lot of non-duality teachings and some amazing non-duality teachers that have really been very beneficial on my path because they were my excitement. And this is what I would like to iterate. If you are excited to follow meditation, if you're excited to sit in a cave for 10 years, if you're excited to follow self-inquiry, if you're excited to follow non-dual teachings, this is a sign that this is for you, and this is part of your path, and this is part of your path to self-realization. And it can be a little confusing because we can feel excited to meditate and excited to do self-inquiry, and then the mind can rebel and it can go a bit crazy and we can feel it's not our excitement. So we really need to try. It can be tricky to tune into what is our excitement, but the point is that we all have a unique path, and for many of us it's not Advaita, it's not non-duality, it is we have a unique path, whether it be extraterrestrial contact, channeling, physical yoga, dancing, music, teaching people about animals. It can literally be anything, because we are infinite beings, and there are as many paths to enlightenment as there are people on the planet. So this is what I'd like to point to people to, that there's really no point following these non-dual teachings and torturing yourself with some of these teachings that can be really head-messing if it's not your path, and they can just, I mean, there have been like suicides due to people following non-dual teachings, and like teachings that don't resonate with them, and these non-dual teachings that say like enlightenment is about accepting that you're depressed and accepting there's nothing you can do to be enlightened, and like completely like, from one perspective this has some reality to it, but completely distorting, like and for most people these teachings are just going to destroy them and just be awful. So we need to find what is our path, and it's not only these extraterrestrial teachings that teach this. This is the essence as I understand it. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, if there's some experts on Advaita Vedanta, but as I understand it from my small knowledge of Hindu teachings and the Advaita Vedanta path and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita teaches Advaita Vedanta and not Advaita. Advaita just means non-duality and just focusing on the non-dual aspect, and this is what a lot of modern teachers, these very famous gurus, teach. And this is relevant for some people, but for some people, and I believe it's relevant for a very small percentage, particularly now as we're entering this new wave. I think this new wave is all about service, and this is what it teaches in the Bhagavad Gita. This is what Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a very similar teaching to the teachings of follow your excitement that the extraterrestrials teach. Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita that there are two paths to self-realization: the path of knowledge and the path of action. So the path of knowledge is perhaps what we know as the traditional teachings, these non-dual teachings like reading books, meditating, sitting in a cave, and really doing nothing and going inwards into yourself for the path of self-realization. But then there's also in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches there's the other path, which is the path of action and the path of service to others. And I believe this is much more relevant for the majority of humanity at this time. And Advaita Vedanta, which I believe comes from the Bhagavad Gita or from some of these style of teachings, Vedanta means that there are things, as I understand it, I'm not an expert, but as I understand it, the Advaita Vedanta path points us to there are things that we can do to raise our frequency. That's my words, this is the ET perspective, to push us back to our soul, they call it the Atman, which is some enlightened aspect of ourselves. I don't fully understand. It's somewhere between, I don't know, it's some higher aspect. I don't know if it's my higher self, our soul, or our God self, but it's the Atman is what they try and point us back to, an enlightened aspect of ourselves. And the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna teaches that there are tools such as meditation, such as self-inquiry, a variety of things, physical yoga. And in the Bhagavad Gita, and they teach that there are 4 types of human, and they categorize the human into 4 categories and 4 paths to self-realization. And number 1 is Raja Yoga, number 2 is Jnana Yoga, number 3 is Karma Yoga, and number 4 is Bhakti Yoga. And so the first path, Raja Yoga, which is what I am because I'm a channel, is Energy Yoga. And this includes physical yoga as we know it in the East, you know, doing postures and asanas, yoga as we know it. This is the path of Raja Yoga and energy work. Physical yoga is energy work. Channeling is energy work. So my path, as my Advaita Vedanta teacher teaches me, she says that my path to enlightenment is channeling, because I'm a Raja Yogi, and it's all about energy work and raising my frequency and raising my vibration to becoming enlightened. And so through my channeling, every time I channel, I break through the physical mind towards my Atman. I become closer to my Atman, closer to my soul. It's not, perhaps not exactly my soul, I don't understand, but it's something like this. But by doing my channeling, I'm going inwards to myself, and I'm breaking through my mental knowledge and going back to my soul, to my Atman, and becoming self-realized through the path of Raja Yoga, through my channeling. And if you're an energy healer, if you're a Reiki practitioner, this is energy work as well. Any energy work, if you work with crystals, I'm sure that's a kind of energy work as well. So you will be termed in Hinduism, in Hindu philosophy, in Advaita Vedanta philosophy, a Raja Yogi. And the second one, what did I say? Jnani Yoga. Jnani Yoga is the path of knowledge, I believe. So it's reading books, meditating, this very inward. You're not being of service, you're going inward. It can appear that you're very selfish, but you're not, because you're serving the highest, and you will at some point come out and be enlightened and serve humanity. And you're holding a certain frequency that is always serving humanity. So this is the path of Jnani Yoga. And so this is perhaps what we could more associate with Advaita and these traditional teachings, which are relevant for some people. I'm not denying them. They are very powerful, and they were powerful for me at a certain point. And some of these teachings gave me a big breakthrough into seeing myself as pure presence, pure awareness. I broke through my mind into stillness and presence and pure consciousness through Advaita teachings, because they were exciting for me at the time, because it was my path at the time. So if these teachings are exciting for you, it's part of your path. And this is the path of Jnani Yoga as I understand it. And then we have the path of Karma Yoga, which is the path of service. And the idea is, as I understand it, service to others is service to self, because there is only one being in creation. So we are serving ourself, and we are, in a sense, connecting with ourself, going out into the world and serving the world. The more we serve, somehow this connects us with our God consciousness, because our higher self always wants to serve, because from a higher perspective, we are one being. So we want to serve ourselves by serving others. So this is the path of Karma Yoga, being of service. And also the path of the benefits of Karma Yoga is it takes you out your mind, because the physical mind is in a sense selfish. The physical mind wants to protect the self. The mind, the negative ego, is selfish. It wants to protect the self. It wants this, I want money, I want happiness, I want enlightenment, I want this, I want a big house, I want to be better than you, I'm not as good as you. This is the negative ego. And so the negative ego is self-serving, it's selfish, because it only wants to serve itself. It's always thinking about itself. And so this is the barrier to self-realization, the barrier to enlightenment. When you're identified with this self-serving negative ego, this is the barrier to breaking into the pure consciousness that wants to serve the all, because it understands we are all one. And when you are following the path of Karma Yoga, you are being of service to others, and this, in a sense, it like stomps the mind. The mind has nowhere to go, because when you're being of selfless service all day, every day, and choosing to do this, it sort of takes you out of the space of the mind that wants to be that wants to gain happiness for itself, that wants to gain money for itself. And this is being very beneficial for me at the minute, because now I'm trying to devote my entire life to service to the one, service to humanity, service to you guys, and service to all. It's like this mind, this negative ego that wants to be happy, that wants this, that wants money. There's no space to it, because like previously, like I'd like be going to work and doing my service, but the mind would be like, when I finish work, I want to do this, so I'm happy. I want to go and have a sauna, so I'm happy. I want to go and watch a movie, so I'm happy. But now I've devoted myself to service, and I'm just serving all the time. And I'm coming home from work gardening, which I love, but I'm also of service through that. And doing this work, it's like there's no room for that ego. The ego says, I want this, I want that. But I'm like, no, I'm being of service. So there's no space. So I'm serving all day long. So this annoying ego that wants this, wants to be happy, wants this, has no space. There's no space to it. And what is happening is because there's no space for that negative ego that wants to be happy. I'm becoming extremely happy because there's no ego that's fucking my head up. So it's absolutely magical. So yes, service is like really powerful, and it is making a huge difference in my life, just devoting my life to service. It's like that part of me that wanted to be happy is gone, and I'm ecstatically happy. So it's pretty amazing. And so the final path is Bhakti Yoga, and this is the path of devotion. And you know, when you see people doing bhajans, and you see perhaps on Muji's videos, they're always doing all this singing that's so beautiful. It's because praising the Lord, like the Hare Krishnas, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They're devoting to the highest, and you see some of these like these bhakti yogis, these devotional practitioners, and you see them when they're singing, they look so happy. And I want to take on more of that devotion myself. I need to embrace more devotion, because we should always have a little bit of every path, but we have one focus, but we should always try and do some of all. And so I want to bring more devotion into my life. I've been working on it. And you see some of these devotional practitioners, these Hare Krishna people, and you look at them and they're singing praise to Krishna and they're so happy. They're like ecstatic. And I'm like, why is she so happy? Why are they so happy? Why can't I be like that singing songs? So, and it's because they're tapping directly into the highest. And actually in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, he's talking to Arjuna, and he says, Arjuna, the highest path is the path of devotion. So you should always try to be devotional. And I think it's because devotion, just when you're singing and praising the highest all the time, you're constantly tapping back into that highest frequency. And so I think perhaps a lot of musicians are very devotional, I'm guessing. I think you see these musicians, very high frequency musicians that sing about the high consciousness and these new realities. I'm guessing they are what would be called in the East bhakti yoga, devotion. If you love to praise God and you've got your shrine and your like temple, and you just love being sat in front of your shrine, and you love like singing and praising the highest and reality and love life, this is devotion. This is path of bhakti yoga. And so the point is that yeah, so as I understand it, the fastest path to self-realization is through our excitement, through our joy. We all have our own path, and as I understand it, we become self-realized, we become awakened when our frequency reaches a certain vibrational state. When our vibration gets high enough, we begin to resonate on the same frequency as our higher self. And from this perspective, we're like resonating on a higher frequency than the physical mind. And we come to see that we're not the physical mind, and the physical mind begins to drop away. And this is self-realization, this is enlightenment, as I understand it, as far as I've become self-realized myself. And as the mind drops away, and as the fear-based patterns of the mind drop away, we become so happy, so joyful, so free. And so this is my message, my final message in this format for this time, before I embark on my new excitement of first contact and initiating humanity into the extraterrestrial alliance. That's your path is your excitement, the fastest path to self-realization, to enlightenment, to everything you desire, to serving humanity. It's the best thing for everyone involved, is the path of your highest excitement. And I'd like to remind you that we probably already know what it is. Everyone's saying like, what's my excitement? I don't know what my path is. I don't know what my calling is. Yes, you do. You know what it is. You know what it is. What do you like to do? What are you doing already? What is your thing? Are you a Buddhist? Are you into Hinduism? Are you into extraterrestrials? Are you into neo-advaita? Are you into music? Are you into running an online dating agency? Are you into life coaching? Are you into internet marketing? Are you into training dogs? Are you into running a dance class? Are you a yoga teacher? The point is, there's infinite ways to become self-realized, and whatever your thing is, you dive deep into it. You go for it full pelt. Go for it, passion. And the more you go into it, the more you become excited by it, and the more the mind drops away, and the more you realize this is who you are, and this is your path to self-realization and awakening. So I hope this makes sense. So, if you've got any questions, guys, fire away. I'll scroll up, see if we've got any questions. Do you feel you are called to do much? Do you charge? If so, how much? Yes, so I do charge. I would be doing this anyway. This is my service to humanity and service to myself through serving all, and this is what brings me joy and passion and I love to do this. But yes, I need to pay bills. So it is fine to charge money for our services. We need to pay the bills, and if we have to work like 40 hours a week, and then we can't like do this as much, you know what I mean? We need to be able to generate money through our passions so we can go full steam ahead with it. So yeah, it's good to charge money, and yeah, I charge quite a lot for my channeling sessions. I charge £70 for 70 British pounds for a 1 hour channeling session, because I feel that's what I need to charge to generate the income through the energy I expend to do this. So yeah, so charging is good, and as long as we're not doing it from greed and like desire for lots of money and material goods, but I'm sure we're all getting past that. I feel it's really about meeting them in the middle as we become more of our fourth density vibration. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're meeting them in the middle. We're not going to reach the frequency level of the extraterrestrials overnight, or even perhaps in this lifetime. They're on from my experience of contact experiences, their frequency is insane. It's like just by having one of their crafts come into the vicinity, like consciousness just go, and like we instantly become one with everything because we're merging auric fields, and their consciousness is mind-blowing. So yeah, we ain't gonna come to their level, but it's about meeting them halfway for sure. Yes, so Kathy's saying dimensions, densities are always within us. It is our state of vibration, frequency, that will perceive these realities. Yeah. I mean, everything is within us. There is no without. Out there is within. So yeah. I'm having a calling to go to Mount Shasta this year. I'm not sure why. Perhaps it's part of my path. I will try to go in September. I don't know what to expect there, but I hear there are ETs. Yes, so go for sure. If you're feeling called, make sure you go. Yeah, you don't need to know why you're going. We never know why we're going. The point is that we follow our inspiration, we follow our guidance. Only our higher selves knows why we're going. We never know why we're doing anything, really. We're just following the guidance. This is the point. Follow your highest excitement without expectation. Without expectation. This is the bit everyone forgets. Without expectation. Follow your highest excitement without expectation. And just let your higher self manifest the ultimate reality when you get there. We don't need to know what it is. That's our higher self's job. We just need to act upon the inspiration. And ideally with a blank mind, just step into the void and see what manifests. And yes, this is a live chat, Carmino. We're live now. Principles of love is to have no greater love than to give one's life for another. It is the love in the heart that sheds all fears in this reality, having centered in the heart. Yeah, we've also got to contain ourselves in this though. Give ourselves to everyone else, but including ourselves. You know what I mean? This is a unity consciousness. We've got to love ourselves as well. I'm just reading the questions. There's loads of chat and I can't see any questions. If following your highest joy is the key, is there no place for shadow work? So yes, there is certainly a place for shadow work. As the Ayel teach, and Bashar, who was one of my big teachers, their teachings are intrinsically connected. So the shadow work, as I teach through the Ayel, is when we feel fear, the shadow, negative energy, which, as I understand it, always stems from fear. We identify what we are fearful of. What belief have we got that makes us feel fearful? And the fear is a sign that we have a belief. Fear is a sign that we have a belief that is out of alignment with our higher perspective. And so we need to identify that belief. What is the belief when I feel fear? So perhaps we have a fear that we are going to be rejected by our partner. So what is the underlying fear? That if my partner rejects me, I will not feel love. If my partner rejects me, it is somehow a sign that I am not good enough. So to take the second one, so I believe I am not good enough. So if my partner rejects me and I feel fear. So the fear about that is a sign that that belief, I am not good enough, is out of alignment with my higher perspective. So we have to identify that fear, become aware of it, dive into the shadow, dive into that negative belief, bring that shadow, that negative belief to the surface, become aware of it, even let it amplify and let the fear amplify if need be, so that we can clearly see what the belief is, and from that perspective see that the fear is a sign that it's out of alignment with our true nature, with our true perspective, with our higher perspective of creation, with who we truly are, our love light self, and redefine that belief to bring it back into alignment with our true understanding, our instinctual knowledge that we are all perfect, intrinsic parts of creation, that are part of this beautiful infinite dance of creation, and all things are perfect. And all things are intrinsic to the makeup of the matrix, to the formation of the one infinite, beautiful, divine dance. And when we see that creation is infinite and creation is one beautiful, divine dance of love and light, we can see that we are a part of this infinite, creative, beautiful dance of love and light. So therefore, we must be infinite and beautiful and love and light and perfect, as all of creation is. So we see that this belief that we are not good enough is not true to our true understanding, and this is why we feel fear. So we need to drop that belief, redefine it to I am perfect, even in all my imperfections and my stuff that I need to work on, and my shadows and all my aspects that I need to transform and align more with my calling and my higher self and my higher perspective, even in all my imperfections. This is a perfect aspect of creation. I am worthy of all the love and light in creation. And this belief feels great, and that's a sign that we've brought it back into alignment. So yes, there is certainly a place for shadow work. However, I would hesitate. There's problems with a lot of these shadow work teachings, that they can become, as one of my teachers calls them, a pity party, where people spend all their time focusing on the shadow diving into negative energy, thinking their ego's telling them that they're really good and really powerful and more spiritual than everyone else because they're willing to dive in and do the hard work, and no, everyone else is blissed out, is not spiritual, they're just selfish in their bliss, but they're better because they're diving into all their pain and suffering, and they're doing the spiritual work, and they're going to be the most enlightened and the best person because they're willing to be in the darkness and accept that they're depressed and go on with life, and they're the most enlightened. And you see how this can create a negative egoic spiral of diving into the shadow. And so this is why I don't teach too much of this shadow aspect, because ultimately, the more we focus on our heart, the more we focus on our Atman, the more we follow our excitement and raise our frequency, all these negative aspects of ourselves naturally resolve themselves, naturally drop away, and we perhaps don't really need to do anything because they come to the surface naturally. The shadow comes to the surface. The higher our frequency goes, it forces the shadow to the surface, and if it's out of alignment with our higher frequency, it will come to the surface violently and really naturally purge itself, because we naturally come to see. As we become more, the more we raise our frequency, the more we see that we are infinite beings of love and light and bliss, and we are perfect aspects of creation, and we are the intrinsic bliss of the universe. We come to see this. So these negative aspects of ourselves, these shadow aspects of ourselves that come to the surface violently and say, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I need money, I'm greedy, and all these negative aspects, they get purged rapidly from our body, and it's quite painful. But from our new place of clarity, we see so clearly they are a load of nonsense, and they naturally begin to fall away, because the more they shout, and the louder they shout, and the louder they scream, the more clearly we see that they're nonsense. But the issue is with all these people that go into these pity parties and dive into all this shadow work, they keep themselves trapped in this lower vibration, and from that lower vibration, they can't see that it's insanity. They can't see they're in a lower vibration. They can't see that they're out of alignment, and they get stuck in this lower vibrational field of this pity party of like focusing on negativity, thinking they're being spiritual and like thinking they're doing something good, but they can't ever see, because they're not following the excitement, they're not focusing on the joy and the bliss, and they're not raising their frequency. They're constantly focusing on the shadow work. They get trapped in the shadow. They get trapped in the negative belief. And when you're in a belief, it's real, because ultimately all beliefs are true, because we create our own reality, so any perspective is real. And when you're trapped in the shadow, trapped in the darkness, you're creating this belief that and you're sustaining this reality of darkness and suffering and pain, and I'm not good enough, and I need to heal my pain, and I'm so poor, and I have a worse pain body than everyone else, so I'm just going to surrender, and enlightenment is about accepting you're depressed anyway, so I'm just going to focus on depression and be more spiritual than everyone. And they get trapped in the negative vibration, and because they're not raising their frequency, they're never able to see that it's nonsense. They're never able to see that this perspective is completely insane. So better not to focus on the shadow than to focus on the shadow too much. But there's certainly a place for the shadow work, I would say. But who knows? Maybe not. I don't know. Certainly better to raise your frequency, because you come to see that your shadow is insane, and you drop it and you let it go. And you've got this voice in your head that's saying, I'm not good enough, I'm rejected by this girl, I'm blah, cry. And it's fucking insane, man. Drop it. Like Bentinho says, at some point you've got to get over yourself. You know what I mean? This is insane, like holding on to this pain. You haven't got a worse pain body. Well, maybe you have, but who knows? Get over yourself. Fucking hell. Jonathan, have you any info on a way an app one can buy for our stereo and such to tune 440 Hz to 32 Hz? 432 Hz? No, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think there may be things. It's interesting. Might be interested to look into that myself. But yeah, I don't know. Google it. Google is your friend. Or YouTube it. Wow, a lot of questions, a lot of chat. I'm hoping to get super chat soon. There's something called super chats where I have to get monetization accepted on my YouTube channel, and then you can like donate $1 and get your question put to the top, because everything's getting lost in the noise, unfortunately, with so many comments and so many questions. So hopefully we'll get super chat, so you can like donate $1 or something, and your question will get highlighted. If they monetize my channel, if they think that my channel is suitable for monetization. Right. I thought your channeling of the Yahyel was great that you did, where they were cursing a lot. Seemed open and honest. Yeah, I feel that was one of the most powerful channelings. Yeah, I like that one. A lot of people's favourite one, that. It's about the only time they've ever sworn. They've sworn once or twice. It's very rare, but it can happen. It's not evil, swearing. Yeah, I think Mount Adams. Was Mount Adams where the first ever UFO sighting was? It was that guy he saw, I can't remember his name. The pilot saw, like, he saw like these, what he described as craft. They weren't actually saucer shaped, they were actually like boomerang shaped. And he saw them skipping over the water like saucers, and this is where the term flying saucer came from, and I believe this happened at Mount St. Adams. Yeah, I'd like to go to ESETI at some point. Yeah, James Gilliland's cool. And yeah, and this is sort of the direction I'm moving in, so it'd be awesome to go to... I'm probably going to do a States trip at some point. Awesome transmissions. Good to see you're following your excitement. Do you only channel Yahyel beings in your sessions? Do you mean private sessions? No, I channel... my channeling is changing a little, actually. But yeah, I do channel other entities. I've been channeling the Pleiadians a little lately. I've been bringing through lately a lot. Also, what's coming through is the Federation of Worlds, like the collective, like that's here to assist Earth at this time. But I've channeled many entities in sessions. It's coming less now, though. I'd say I was channeling like anyone wanted at one point, but I seem to be moving away from that. I don't know. I've cut down on my channeling sessions quite a bit. I'm not doing so many one-on-ones, but I am still doing them. But yeah, it's but generally I channel the Yahyel in my private sessions. Jonathan, can you speak about how when one is vibrationally awakened, can they see, perceive, experience the distortions in the matrix? I'm not sure what you mean by distortions in the matrix. Can you clarify on that? Shadow work is necessary, but you must have balance. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Sorry about all this quiet time of reading the questions. There's so much chat going on, and I'm trying to find the questions. Jonathan, have you thought of starting a MeWe channel? They have really good chat rooms. Hey, Mishari. No, never even heard of MeWe. I'm probably going to focus on YouTube, I guess. Although I'm thinking of doing a well, I think it looks like I'm starting a podcast. So keep your eyes peeled. So we seem to have come to an end. There's not too many questions, right? This top chat room isn't the best. When you try and scroll, it like skips. It's certainly not great. Ah, then you can't curse if you get monetized. Am I right? I hope not, because I can't control my cursing. Hi, Alicia. Okay, so we seem to be coming to an end. We got the 1 second. Jonathan, matrix distortions meaning when things, global events, people's actions and reactions are odd. Noting events that appear so staged, etc. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the first signs of a vibrational awakening is the ability to see through the... I was going to swear, but I won't. That when you can see through the lies of the mainstream media and our governments, and it becomes very clear and it becomes laughable. You know, you see the papers and you just see the propaganda they're putting out, and it's just ridiculous that anyone would ever believe in it. But they do still, apparently. So yeah, it certainly becomes clearer because the raising of vibration, and I'm sure all of you that are in the chat have gone through this already to some degree, otherwise you wouldn't be here, obviously, because you've obviously seen through the illusion somewhat, otherwise you certainly wouldn't be listening to my channel. So as we raise in frequency, we come out of identification with the mind, because the reason I believe why so many people still believe like all the nonsense that the papers are putting out and the mainstream media is reporting is so ridiculous and completely unbelievable, and it's just like juvenile. But the reason why so many people still believe this is because they are still completely identified with their physical minds, and they've been conditioned so much through their childhood just to believe. They have a belief that says the TV only tells the truth. Well, maybe not about little things, but about big things. The TV would never lie. The TV is my God. The TV is my saviour. And they've literally had this programmed into them from birth, so they aren't able to break out of this pattern. And this is why they believe all the propaganda and the nonsense, even though from our perspective it's like ridiculous and we can't believe anyone's buying into it still. But yeah, but so what happens as we raise our frequency, we step out of identification with the physical mind, and our innate wisdom, the wisdom of the heart, begins to well up, and and it breaks our physical conditioning, and we can begin to rewire our brain and create new belief patterns that say, I will not automatically believe everything I am told. I will come to a rational judgment myself from a place of neutrality and skepticism, because skepticism is healthy, like true skepticism, standing in the middle and weighing up both sides of the equation. So yeah, so we can certainly see through what I call the negative matrix, the illusory reality, more and more. And the more we wake up, the more we see that it is all an illusion, and to the point where perhaps we see that it's a complete illusion, and it's all like, because it's all collectively co-created, we get to a point vibrationally where we completely pop out of the matrix, or to a very high level, and we see that it's actually a co-creation, and it's created by the dark side, because they have manipulated reality and created through the schooling system and media a collective consensus that reality is like this. but it's not. Reality is a co-creation, and reality is infinite and unbound, and it can take any form. But as a globe, planet Earth is a co-creation, a global co-creation, and the collective consensus creates our reality, and that's why we still have gravity. But as I understand it, if like enough of us, if 3 billion of us or 4 billion of us were to believe that gravity was a option, we would be able to literally fly off the planet. But we have agreed to co-believe that gravity is a law of our reality. So yeah, but as we raise our frequency to a certain level, we come to see that literally it is all it's all an illusion. It's all a story created by the architects of this reality, the architects of this world, that have programmed into humanity these collective beliefs that, you know, that the government is good, war creates peace, the TV is God, and we come to see that, you know, where we get to a point where we realize that there is only this present moment, that there is no past, there is no future, there is only consciousness having an experience, and we are a lens of consciousness having our current experience, and this is it. This is our reality. This is our manifestation. We are infinite consciousness focused through a lens, creating a perception of reality, which is this. And there is no past, there is no future, there is only this. Our portal of the infinite, our perception of the infinite is this. We have collectively co-agreed this experience. There is no future, there is just us. This is it. This is our experience of the infinite. We are co-creating a communication over YouTube. There is no past, there is no future. But we collectively agree that there is a past, and that the government has power over us, and the government creates our reality, and time is real, and we use the Gregorian calendar. But if we were able to completely see that there is only this present moment, and this is an illusion, and this is the matrix, and the idea of Gregorian time was programmed into us by the dark side to manipulate us. If we all collectively saw this, we would be able to pop out of it and realize that time is an illusion, and begin to operate on pure synchronicity, and we wouldn't need time, and we wouldn't need governments in the way we have done in the past, and we could completely let go of the negative matrix and create from this present moment. But the collective hasn't caught up with that yet, so we still have to play the game of believing we have time, believing the Gregorian calendar is some fact of reality, believe in Newtonian physics, and believe like we need to burn petrol to make energy and all this stuff. So yeah, the more we raise our frequency, the more we pop out of the matrix, and the more we see the matrix is an illusion created within our consciousness that seems to have been hacked by the dark side. It seems we have 100 new comments. Yeah, that's a good idea, Amanda. Great idea. Thank you, Amanda. Ask folks to start their sentences with question in capitals if it's a question. Yeah, if you could do that, guys, what Amanda's just suggested. If you have a question, we're probably going to wrap up soon, but in future and today, if you want to ask a question, start the question off with question in capitals. Then I can just scan through and pop them out, because there's too much chat going on for me to be able to identify and sift through the noise. You should call us students, not fans. Did I call you fans? Sorry, I apologise if I called you fans. It's my programming, it's my conditioning. I don't think of you as fans. I'm not even sure I like the term students. I'm just a reflection of what you already know. I'm just talking, and hopefully you'll resonate with something that enables you to find your own wisdom, your own calling, your own passion. It makes me uncomfortable to think of me as a teacher and you a student. I don't like it. We are friends. We are co-creators in this reality. I think some people are just happy being miserable and don't want to put in the work to change what is fucked up. Yeah, I mean, they're not obviously not happy being miserable, but they do sort of draw some kind of pleasure from being miserable. And this is because all perspectives are real and all truths are true. And if you're a miserable person, you are identified as a miserable person, because ultimately all beliefs, all perspectives, all feelings, all emotions are an illusion. They are just experiences passing through our consciousness. And this is what self-realization is, realizing that I'm not even here. I'm just consciousness, and the idea of Jonathan and the belief that I am a me and a Jonathan is just a stream of thoughts passing through my consciousness. And so when I have lots of miserable thoughts, I believe that I'm a miserable person, and I believe that I, Jonathan, am miserable. And I, Jonathan, do not want to die, because I believe this is my existence. I cannot see an existence outside of my miserable life. So if I stop being miserable, who will I be? Because I've been miserable all my life, and I believe this miserable me is my identity. So who will I be if I stop being miserable? So the miserable me doesn't want to die because it believes it's the end of reality. It can't see anything outside of reality because it doesn't exist, because there is nothing outside of it, because it's all an illusion. The miserable me is a perspective, it's a thought, it's an experience within consciousness, and what we are is the infinite consciousness in which all things arise. But the egoic perspective, the human perception, is that I am a me. I actually exist. I have some existence. This stream of thoughts that I've been thinking all my life is me. And my stream of thoughts has been miserable. So who will I be if I am miserable? And so the miserable me doesn't want to die. So yes, this is why people get trapped in their misery for so long, and why it can be so hard letting go of our suffering, because we believe it's the end of us, our death. The poor me, who's been not good enough all our lives, who's been rejected all our lives, who's been poor all our lives, who's been homeless all our lives. Who will I be when this story is gone? Well, you won't. You'll be free. You have to let go and find out. Die to the present moment and see what's left. Neo Glimmer Code song, recent 144 confirmations. Check it out. Bliss be all infinity. Thanks, Mr. Flying Snake. I like music. I'll check that out if it's a cool high vibe song. Question: is blood over intent of the dark a trap? Sorry, Michelle, I don't understand what that question. Is blood over intent of the dark a trap? Yes, sorry, Michelle, I don't understand that. Perhaps you could just quickly clarify. One last question. Hi, I'll say hello to the Yael for you, Tim. You can say hello yourself. You just need to put it out there. Hold it in your consciousness. You're saying hello to the Yael. I think they'll pick up on it. Neo Glimmer Codes. Okay, I'll just wait a couple of minutes just to see if Mashari, if you clarifies that question. So, Yes, so if you want to learn to channel, check out the Learn to Channel course in the links below. Otherwise, I think we're about done. So hold that question till next week, Mashari, and we'll catch up there. So back same time next week, possibly with a different focus, more focused on first contact. So we'll see what happens. When making a declaration, it is supposed to seal the contract as your blood is supreme. Not fully understood it though. Yeah, it's probably like a powerful permission slip to like say, this is what I want, this is what I want. But you've got to be very careful with this sort of things. Make sure you're of the service to highest, because you can manifest things you might not want otherwise. Okay, thanks guys. Have a wonderful day. Namaste. See you soon. Shivai, good day.